Hello, and welcome to Canasta Junction with Lindsay1. I am going to play a game today I'm going to try to get a pickup game with a couple of strangers and discuss some strategy. So let's see how this goes. Let me just log in and hope there's no connectivity problems and hope I can find a game that has no password and is looking for a player. So I'm going to try to find a table. All right, let's start with these guys. See if they're looking for looking to get started soon. And I think we're off to the races. So I don't know any of these people, and hopefully we'll get a game going where I can discuss some strategy. And see if it works out. All right. All right, well, this is going to be a game with a base of 3. We can add wilds anytime. And so the thinking is just a little bit different. You may go out with a pair and a wild card. All right, so the thinking is a little bit different here. One reason is that you have a chance to actually see you're not guessing where wild cards are, because for the most part, if the opponents have 2 canastas, they will be plunking them down, the wild cards down, and so you're less likely to make a mistake at the end of the game by sort of, I guess, trying to squeeze out a meld with wild cards and make a big mistake. So there's just slightly different strategy with the with base of 3 and putting wilds down anytime, but in general you want to preserve your wild cards to close canastas and not be sloppy with them. So, all right, I'm going to try to decide. I could have melded earlier, but now at this point I'm going to try to decide if it's worthwhile putting any wild cards with my aces, or if the opponents already have 4 down, I will hold on to mine and meld with something else. All right, a little strategic 6 there. I'm going to wait one more turn and see when I think it's worthwhile to put my wild cards either with aces and meld normally, or use them for something else. All right, guys, I'm going to be using them for something else. Okay, what am I going to do here? Let me see. There was already a 9 discarded by my opponent. I'm going to put 3 down here and see what happens. I guess I'm going to put them all down. I don't want my partner to throw away any. Okay, another 5 and a jack. So it looks like we're going to be at risk of giving away the pile here. Unfortunately, I made a bad choice, and my partner didn't have any 9s. All right. Well, we're still not too far behind. We just need to get a 9 here and another jack. Let's see what happens. Unfortunately, the opponents seem to have picked up quite a few of our jacks. but only 1-9, so I haven't lost hope yet. I didn't want to waste my wild cards here until I knew sort of what my partner had. So I'm hoping if we get another natural 9 or a jack, I'll be able to close 2 canastas. But I'm not going to wait any longer. Since my opponent only has 1 card left, they can flop down wilds anytime. So let's see what we have. Maybe I'll get a sense from what else my opponents lay down on the table, what's feasible to be closed. All right, I think they picked up a couple of jacks. And now we're ahead in the 3s. I just need my partner to pick up a natural card. Or another wild card would be nice. And I'll be very upset if I get an 8 here and I didn't use my wild cards judiciously. Ah, my lucky day. All right, we're ahead in the 3s. And there's a chance we could even get another one to boot. So I'll be very happy if we come home with the last 3 there. Good job. All right. We did the best we could. I think we... all right. Let's see what I got here. 6. Let's get rid of my 9s early. And a 7 from my opponent. So I'm going to assume that they are signaling and try to hold on to my 7. For at least as long as I can. All right. Keeping my eye on my singleton 5 that I don't really need, but I'm holding on to it for a later discard. My 4 is also looking pretty safe. That's the 4th 4 going down, but I'm liking the 5. If my right-hand opponent melds, I'll hold on to that 5 at that time. Get rid of it then. All right, a 9. And add that 4 to the pile, keeping on to my 5. My queens, even though my partner discarded a queen, I'm going to hold on to that. Hold on to my 4 of a kind, in case I get another triple. Or even start to go for a zip code hand of 4 triple 3. And it looks like, unfortunately, my partner and I are not holding on to the same cards. They're just letting go of my 8s and my queens. But maybe she has a plan. Oh. Well, I guess her plan is different than my plan, but we'll see what happens. I'm not looking optimistic, so here if I can get a hold of this deck, I will take it before it gets too dirty, and at least get something cooking here with the fives and the queens. And that was not a smart move, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. But then again, I'm not the one at risk here, so let's see. The sixes were all in the deck. I would have held on to them for discards. Another five, and I think that queen was looking good. There were there was at least one discarded by my left-hand opponent, and another one by my partner, so, all right, let's see what they got going here. All right, I must have. I guess we're getting down to the end here, even though I didn't see any sevens or aces. I guess we're getting down to the end here, so we're going to, I'm not picking up this deck unless it comes to me right now. There's only one other seven discarded, so let's see what we get here. Now I think they're going to start having to dump aces. Nobody wants to hold on to more than two aces at this point. And there isn't any point to put three queens down when there's at least three in the deck. And now it's getting too dirty. So it wouldn't have made any difference. My partner was not going to pick up the deck at this point, having kept those sixes in their hand. I just thought it was a risky move because had the opponents melded, you want to make sure you have safe discards at that time, keeping the deck safe. And I'm in no rush to put three queens down, so I'm going to just get rid of these now. Oh, I forgot about the wild anytime. Yep. Okay. Well, those threes really hurt our opponents, and we didn't do anything too frisky, but now we're at 155, so let's see what's going to happen here. I'm liking my hand at 155. I've got triples that are 10-point cards. I've got two aces. I've got a safe discard here along the way, depending on how things shape up. All I need is a couple of jokers, maybe, and the opportunity to. All right. So my partner doesn't like tens. Push comes to shove. I guess I'll start to get rid of the tens. I do want to be able to have a chance to keep the cards that my partner's keeping if one of us were to meld. And if they're not melding with tens, I don't see any reason to hold on to them. Except for now, let me see if I change my plan, because it looks like maybe I'll be able to meld 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, 90, 110, 130. And I definitely needed another wild card. Hold on, we chucked two fours in a row. I definitely need another wild card in any event for a special hand or for melding, so I will just get rid of that four and see how this hand evolves. All right. So my left-hand opponent had just thrown a 4, and I think that will be my safest bet here, unless I pick up a 5. So let's see what happens. All right, 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30. I think this is a chance for me to meld. I want to make sure that the opponents don't close these aces before I'm going to be left with only 3 cards, which isn't ideal. But I think at 155, it is better to meld than to not meld. Well, that was a very nice pickup. There were at least 5 4s down on the table, and they had the last 2 for a clean canasta, so that is a really good looking pickup. Wow. I don't even recall if there were any 7s, but I certainly don't think so. So my partner really can't even be dirty. Let's just see if I can close something. We'll see what I pick up here. My plan is to put my 10 down, discard my ace, and if I'm lucky, I might pick up another one of these matching cards to close out a canasta. But I do think my ace is the card I'm going to get rid of. And let's see. Put down the ace, which is more points, and there we go. That's good. They were about to be able to close the jacks here. She was being coy and held on to them for a little bit too long. And of course, I've done that before. So I've been charged me with that crime as well. So this is a clearly unmeldable hand, and a hand where I'm going to just try to keep as many little pairs as possible. I'm definitely holding on to these 4s and 5s for my later discards. Or just in case my partner were to meld, be able to get the deck. So along the way, I'm going to get rid of this 8. Later on, the king. And see what happens. I don't even mind if Best picks up the deck early on. At this point, there's only a couple little cards in there. Nothing that can close a canasta. Looks like they're in a little rush to meld and didn't want to hold out for the deck. All right. Well, just in case at Best is the one with the with actual 7s, they pick it up, they'll be pretty dirty. I'm gonna take a chance here with this king since they had discarded one before. Holding on to this 10 for when things start to get a little frisky. It could be that Best had a king, picks up a pair, and so it's better for me to start to discard these now before they've had a chance to create a pair of kings in their hand. So I'm going to throw these away while it's safer now and then later on throw the 10 when it's a little more dangerous. I think at that point they also might start to get nervous and start putting down jacks and other triples that they have in their hand. They'll start to get anxious when the pile gets lower, and maybe I can flesh out what they were holding, the composition of their hand. Like, that queen is definitely suspicious. It looks to me like they have a pair of queens. Let me just keep track of those 4s. And now I'll start to throw my 10, maybe another 4. Well, so here, as I said, it looked like that Bess was getting a little anxious. So now they gave me a safe discard of both my 10 and my jack are safe here. Again, that 9, clearly suspicious that they're baiting me with having 3 9s in their hand. All right, look at her go. Now last king. So, what are they going to give me? All right, no time like the present. And will I stoop so low as to pick up the 7s? Let me think about it. My left-hand opponent threw one early on. All right. So I thought the 4s had been safe. There were 3 discarded. I have 3 in my hand, and very interesting that my left-hand opponent had the same strategy that I had, holding onto the 4s and the 6s, giving me plenty of safe discards. And I'm sacrificing closing a second canasta because I may not even get a turn here. Whatever, and I assume I'm going to get an ace, something I can't pick up. But let's find out. All right, I think there was like no harm done in that strategy. Didn't look like we were going to be closing the aces in any event. So I didn't mind sitting around with them for a little while. And now this is an interesting hand. So I think I remember this hand. I think they have wild cards. 120. Let me see, what did I throw? I was a 5 and a 6 down. Well, my partner has 1 ace. I remember being this hand on the opposite side of this hand, getting down to the wire. This was not my original plan. I was planning to get rid of these aces here. Not looking good for my pair of sixes. Time to dump these, I believe. If my goal is to try to get a triple and meld with my aces, I'm going to have to get working on it. So I have 140, 50, 60. So, I mean, let's see if I get rid of this. I have 120, 30, 40, 50, 60. Gonna give it one more round to try to get a triple of my queens and eight or tens. Ugh. Not what I wanted. I think after this, it's going to be dead meat. So even though this is wild anytime and a base of 3, it's called, you still need a clean triple to meld. I'm not ready to make it my aces, and not making the mistake my partner had made, that but previously when I had thrown my singleton ace to try to make a special hand. They assumed it was a signal. Now, having had 5 aces in my hand, I would never believe that that was a signal. So let's see, they have 230, and the 9 is there, and the 10. If I were to, okay, here we go. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so that's 140, 50, 60. Okay, that's 140, 50, 67. All right, I think we are good to go. 20, 40. And now I just have to give up one of these cards. Well, what do you know? I think that my right-hand opponent picked up some wild cards. We don't have quite enough to close out here. Try the 8 again. All right, so I do believe, let me see, how many wild cards did we have in here? We only had 1 with the aces. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that they actually get the wild cards here, these last couple of cards. I think they pick them up one at a time. But since we are playing a base of 3, I'm wondering if I'm ever going to be able to go out. It's going to be very complicated because we only have the kings here open. We're going to have to kind of stick it out till the end. And if they get the close of wild card canasta, we kind of messed ourselves up. I probably should have held on to that little wild card. Maybe could have. We already had 2 canastas, so it would have been better for us to go close, for me to hold a wild card and 3 cards in my hand. Hope to go out with them. This is going to be pretty tricky. It would be quite incredible if they get clean of 7s and also close the wild card. So let's see. Yep. All right, not exactly clean. But luckily they didn't put down the 7, so we escaped. Now, I can't remember. Let's see what happens with this hand. If it shapes up to be a special hand with no wild cards, I don't know how long I want to sit around with these aces, but we're pretty far ahead. So if they get pairs and cause us to have a penalty here, what would happen is, let's say they got 2,000, they'd be at 5,700. We would be minus 2,000. We'd still be a little bit ahead. It would be a horse race, but we'd be a little ahead. And I think I'd be willing to take that risk. So I think what I'm going to do is go for that special hand at some point or another. I've got my 4 and some pairs. Let's see what shapes up to be 3 of a kind and see if I can work with the zip code hand here. So they're up at 155 and probably getting wild cards again. So here we only need 1 canasta to win the game. So I think I would, if I end up not going for a special hand and trying to meld, I'm just going to chuck my 7s. I don't even care if they got the 7s. I don't think they'll catch up unless they get wild cards and 7s. That's all right. I mean, I was paying attention to 5. I don't know. Even if they get wild cards and 7s, I don't think that they would have, they would be able to win this game when we're at 8,000 already. So we'll see what happens. All right. So my partner doesn't like 9s or 6s. Nice work. All right. Well, I think it was worth it. So we're tied. Have to give it a try. Anyway, that was a little bit of Canasta strategy. Maybe not the best example. I think I have to learn not to be so greedy. And those hands with the 4 aces, not going to get stuck with them again. So let's see. See if I can get